beautiful people. It is I, your sister from another mister, Thrifting Thick Chick. And yes, ma'am, I am going to give a disclaimer in this video. If you are easily triggered by things, I'm going to suggest that you go ahead and click off the video. Simply because some people are really, really sensitive to certain subjects, and I don't want to trigger anything for anyone. But I'm going to be discussing some things that deal with the paranormal and things like that as part of my kind of Halloween series that I'm going to be doing. Me and the Juice Man are going to be having a pumpkin carving contest where we're going to be carving out pumpkins. And you guys are going to be the judge on who carved out the best pumpkin or whatever. We're going to be doing some fun stuff. I also have a video that I'm going to be making for some adults punch for Halloween. If you know, like, everybody ain't into Halloween like that, but I'm just saying, you know, for some little fun videos or whatever for you guys to see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this here particular video. Okay, like I said, this is going to be like a, you know, some paranormal experiences that I've had in the past. And, you know, so if you want to stay in the present, then we're going to stay in the present as well, because some things have popped up in this apartment as well. But I'm going to talk about some things that have happened to me in the past, okay, as part of this whole little Halloween series. Okay, so if you guys follow my daily blog channel, you've probably seen one of the videos that I did. It's probably a little over a year ago where I told you guys about something that happened in an apartment that I was living in. One of my very first apartments that I was living in downtown Tuscaloosa. Now, if you guys don't know anything about downtown, I don't know about downtown where you are, but downtown where I was living, it's kind of like a historic district. And they, you know, everything down there was like stupid old. I'm talking about dirt old, like 1800s old, okay? I'm talking about everything down there was old, so they couldn't do any type of renovation. They couldn't do, if they did any type of renovation, they had to have some type of letter or something from the city. It was very, very strict down there, so everything down there was really, really old, okay? And the way the building was set up at my old apartment, it was a studio apartment, which was stupid expensive because it was downtown. It was near the bars and the university and all that type of stuff. And it was, when I first seen the apartment, I'm not gonna lie, it looked like a plantation house to me. Come to find out, it used to be a plantation house. You can go and watch my other video, because I don't want to really insert no pictures in this video because I don't really have time to do that type of editing. But if you want to see what the apartment looks like, you can head over to my daily blog channel and look up my paranormal story or something like that. It should come up, or matter of fact, I'll put the link down in the description box, and you can see a picture of the apartment that I used to live in. And apparently it used to be a plantation house. And I used to, every single night, you guys, I'm a very, very sensitive person when it comes to the paranormal and things like that. And it used to, every time I entered that place, it just used to make me feel some type of way. But I never really thought anything about it back then. But since I've moved several times since then, I noticed that the older the building, the more sensitive I am to certain situations, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. Every single day, you guys already know that I told you I've had a couple of episodes of sleep paralysis in my day. I haven't had any lately, but over there at that apartment, it used to be almost every day. Almost every single night that I went to sleep, I had an episode of sleep paralysis. And this one episode of sleep paralysis that I had over there was, I mean, it was one of the most horrible experiences that I've ever had as far as sleep paralysis is concerned. I was like, laying in bed, of course. If you guys don't know anything about sleep paralysis, I would suggest that you Google it or type in some videos on YouTube or something. And you can learn a little bit more about sleep paralysis. But I was laying in bed, I was asleep, okay? And in my state of sleep paralysis, what I notice is a lot of times it happens when I am half asleep and half awake. So I was asleep one night, and I literally, my body just felt like it just came up out of myself, and I was just floating. And it's like I could see like these shadow things at the door, and I was floating down the stairs with, you know, past things of what looked like slaves or something to me, black folks. I mean, it just was a very, very weird experience. I'm trying not to even go into full-blown detail, but I come to find out that that was a plantation house that I was living in. And like I said, this was situations that was happening every single day. Now, when I first started talking to the Juice Man, when he visited me for the first time, if you guys didn't know, the Juice Man is sensitive to certain situations as well. And when he first visited me, he said one night he was sitting up, because me and the Juice Man, you know, he wasn't getting in my bed, and then he said he was sitting in my recliner, or sleeping in my recliner, whatever he was doing. He said he was just sitting there one night. He said he saw like a black shadow man standing in my kitchen, just standing there, a black shadow person just standing in the kitchen while he was just sitting in the chair. Now, mind you, I live in a studio apartment, so it's like a big, gigantic room. The kitchen is right there, and I had a separate bathroom. He said he saw just like a shadow man just standing in the kitchen. just standing there. He said, so he turned like he was looking back at the TV, because the juice man is the type of person that he not scared of a damn thing. And he's had several experiences himself in the past from different situations. He can tell y'all about that later if he decides he wants to. But he's had several situations that happened to him in the past, and he's kind of the type of person that likes to ignore the situation until it gets to the point where he can't ignore it anymore. Let me give you the perfect example. He was, I guess, wherever he was at a particular point in time, he was laying on the couch, and he said the kitchen drawer, not the kitchen, the bathroom drawer kept opening and closing, like opening and slamming. He said, so he just laid there and pretended like when nothing going on. So he said eventually he did get up and go and look, and he said, wasn't nothing happening. So he said he went back and laid on the couch. He said then the bathroom door just kept opening and closing, until he said, what do you want? What do you want? And he said it just stopped after he said, what do you want? Because I guess whatever it was felt like, okay, you going to acknowledge me, or I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. Okay. So those are two little experiences that I have. But like I said, if you want full detail about what happened over at my old apartment, you can go and watch my paranormal video. I'll leave it down in the description box of this video. That happened. That's been years ago, you guys. Years ago. So you guys can go over and watch that video if you decide that you want to. I'm also going to tell you about a couple of situations that happened to me when I was in college. Now, when I was in college, a lot of times, you know, folks sit and tell you like little quote unquote scary story to try to scare you or whatever. But this particular situation turned out to be true. There was a girl who, as a matter of fact, was it on? No. Y'all remember the show that used to come on ABC? I think it was, oh my God, what was the name of it? I can't think of the name of the show that used to come on ABC. It was like little ghost story situations where they used to go and talk about little ghost situations that you'd have in the different states and cities and things like that. I cannot think of the name of that show for the save my life. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Leave it down in the comment section below. But there was this girl who lived in the dorms where we were staying, and somebody was like, y'all know y'all dorm is haunted. We were freshmen, of course. We sitting there, ain't paying them fools. We was like, what you mean the dorm is haunted? They was like, you know y'all dorm haunted. These are like, you know, sorority boys who are, well, not sorority, fraternity boys who are like, you know, juniors and seniors. So they trying to scare us. We thinking they trying to scare us. They was like, nah, we dead serious. There was a girl who killed herself in one of the dorms room over there in Gardner Hall. We was like, man, quit playing. So of course, you know, by us being, you know, skeptical and thinking they just trying to bullshit us, we went asking other people. They were like, yeah, that was a girl who, you know, killed herself in room whatever. It was like on the 3rd floor. I was living on the 2nd floor, thank God, because girls, if I was living on the 3rd floor, they would have had to move me, boo. But they was like, yeah, you know, that happened. There was a girl, she, you know, she cut herself and she ended up dying or whatever in the room. So they was like, yeah, the girl did kill herself on the 3rd floor of Gardner Hall. So, girl, let me tell you something about when I was going to Troy University. If you didn't live in Troy, every weekend, people used to go home, whether they lived in Montgomery, Alabama, Dothan, or wherever. People used to leave campus and go home every single weekend. Now, mind you, when I was going to Troy, I lived like damn near 3 hours away. So, I couldn't go home every single weekend, because if I went home, my mom and daddy was going to have to pay to give me gas to get back to campus. The girl, they had just decided to give me the car. Okay, I was already acting the fool with the car when I had to went on that little situation down to Tuskegee, meeting that dude on the internet. Y'all need to go over to my daily vlog channel if y'all want to hear about that story, girl. That was another hot booty mess. Okay, about the dude who I met on College Club, girl. We ain't even talk about that situation. Y'all can go over there and check out my catfish story over there, girl. Number 2. But everybody used to go home. So this one particular weekend, I was in the dorm by myself, and these particular dorms had the communal showers where you had to go in and, you know, take your little shower box, your shower shoes, and go and get in the shower. That's, you know, the communal shower. Some of the sophomores and the juniors and things like that, they had the private showers in their room, but the freshman dorms had the communal showers. This particular weekend, like I said, almost everybody had to went home. And by me living 3-4 hours away, I'm sitting on campus. There's probably me and a couple of other people that are on campus, and I'm in there taking a shower, girl. I kid you not. 2 showers down from me, the shower just came on, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking somebody, you know, in there taking a shower, whatever. So I'm still in there taking a shower. Then all of a sudden I hear like boom, boom, like knocking on the shower. And at first I'm thinking to myself, the hell is wrong with whoever this person is in this damn shower? So of course after I take my shower, rinse myself off, you know, and I put on my towel, whatever, and I'm heading out. Ain't nobody in there but me. but the shower is on and running. Baby, when I tell you, hauled ass up out of that piece. Now, that wasn't the only little situation that happened. That was the only situation that stood out to me. But there have been previous, other little situations that's happened. Like, you be in the dorm by yourself. It's like, hey, probably 5 or 6 people in the dorm. Everybody else gone home. The hallway lights are cut on and cut off. And we'll sit there and blame little stuff like that on, just a power shortage or something like that. But it's been several situations that's happened to me in the dorm that's I would consider to be paranormal or creepy. Now I'm gonna tell y'all about some other stuff. I don't know if you guys have heard of the 13 Ghosts of Alabama. There's actually a courthouse here that is in, I think it's Carrollton, Alabama. There's this thing that they call the ghost in the courthouse window. There was this guy, I think his name was Henry somebody. Apparently they said that he burned down the courthouse before this one was built. They claimed he burned down this courthouse, and apparently he didn't do it. So them people changed out. Of course they lynched him. This was back in 18 something, girl. I don't even remember. But they lynched this man. And every single year they change out this courthouse window every single year, and there's a face imprint that every year they change it out. The face still shows up on this glass. No matter they've changed it out. They've called themselves, tried to paint over with paint. The face still shows up in that courthouse window. Also, the apartment that I used to live in downtown, there was another building, like, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was across from it, but it was kind of like, you had to go across the street and then down another street, and there was this other building. It's like it used to be a church. Apparently the lady is haunted. Well, I know apparently it is. It's in there. You can go and look in the 13 Ghosts of Alabama book, and it's in there. I cannot think of the name of the house. I'm gonna have to look on the Wikipedia thing and find it, and I'll leave it down in the description box below. But apparently something happened over there, and there's this lady that's haunting it now. Apparently it has something to do with the fact that, I don't know if they said that her husband died and they were supposed to burn candles when she died. They were supposed to burn candles or something at her funeral. I don't remember exactly how it went, but all I know is there's been homeless people that have went in there. I mean, you can tell a homeless person that live here in Tuscaloosa right now that they can go and they can live in this big gigantic church that they have since painted. They done put fresh paint, all this type of stuff. They stay having for rent sign on there. Won't nobody ever rent this place. I mean, it's never been rented because it's just that haunted. The fire department has gone on false calls there several times, and people will see, what looks like smoke and shit coming up out of there, and they'll get there and ain't nothing there. I mean, they say they get false alarms there all the freaking time. So apparently there's some stuff that's going on there. People sometimes see this lady in blue standing in the window over there from time to time. I've never seen it. I remember I used to come home at night when I was living downtown across from it. I promise you, at night, I didn't even look that way. I used to be scared to look that way. Scared I'm going to look over there and see something. But they say you cannot pay a homeless person to go into this place. If the police sit there and told them, okay, well, at night, y'all can go in this, place right here and, sleep. They cool. They'd rather sleep outside on the sidewalk somewhere other than going in this building. And get some warmth. Because they say it's just that damn creepy. Now there's another one, the ghost of Gainesville. There's another one about this ghost of I think it's Marion or something like that. Apparently this guy, his name was, I don't remember his name. I don't want to sit there and call nobody name. But apparently this guy, he ended up getting lynched for murder. Apparently they accused him of murdering somebody, and he was a pretty stockier, heavy-set dude. And they were hanging him over a bridge, and they had to dig a hole underneath his feet because his feet kept touching the ground or whatever. So they had to dig like a little small hole to keep him from, his feet from touching the ground. And apparently still to this day, and they said that was years ago, apparently still to this day, that hole, they call it the hole that cannot be filled. They said they sat there and they filled it with cement. They filled it with dirt. Now, mind you, this happened 80, 90 years ago. And this hole still would not to this day be filled. The hole is still in the ground where they dug this hole because the man was so, I guess, tall or big or whatever. They had to dig this hole to keep his feet touching the ground so he can, so they can hang him. And the hole still to this day cannot be filled. Now, if that ain't creepy, I don't know what is. Another thing that happened, let's see. I guess I can tell you about the situation with my granddad. Now, my mom, my granddad, my grandmother, and all her brothers and sisters, they used to live in like this little small house that was kind of like, it wasn't in the graveyard, but it was kind of like right behind the church. So I mean, graves were like literally look out their front door, and the graves were like almost pretty much in the front yard. Now, mind you, this is back in the 20s, okay, 20s and 30s. So of course you got folks who, you know, in the country. I'm from Alabama, by the way. In the 20s and 30s, you know, back then they had to build houses anywhere where they can build them, especially black folks. My mom was born in the 50s, but apparently they was living in this house that was in like this graveyard situation. And my granddaddy and they used to go out in the graveyard all the time at night, you know, to try to find food. Because back then, you know, wasn't nobody going to no grocery stores buying no chicken and steaks and stuff like we buy now. So they used to go in the graveyard at night to see if they can find raccoons, rats. I'm not rats, bitch. Did you say rats? Raccoons, rabbits, different things like that. So this particular night, my granddaddy, I remember he told us this story. Girl, it creeped us the fuck out. Now, mind you, we kids and stuff. We like, granddaddy, tell us some ghost stories. So he said he went out there. They was hunting, him and this guy named Paul Walker or something. They was out there hunting. And they saw some raccoons. So granddaddy said he, you know, shot at the raccoon. He said, but he noticed when he shot at the raccoon didn't die. He just shot at it. He said he noticed it appeared that the raccoon started to get bigger. But he didn't say the raccoon was turning into a person. He said it appeared that the raccoon had started to get bigger after he had shot at it. Now, mind you, he said him and Paul Walker took off to run. He said they didn't stay to see what the hell the raccoon was turning into or what was going to happen. He said when they shot it and he noticed that the raccoon started to grow, he said they started running because they didn't know what the hell was popping off. Now, I have heard of situations to where they said that, you know, animals can kind of, I guess, project themselves into, you know, dead folks can kind of project themselves into animals or whatever. So I don't know if that has something to do with that, but that was one little creepy story that he told me about in the graveyard. Plus, they said that sometimes they used to look out their window and they used to see dead folks just roaming. Well, I'm not going to say dead folks. They used to see things roaming in the graveyards at night. And I'm assuming it ain't people. I'm assuming it's, you know, paranormal shit. Because, I mean, who just out there chilling in the graveyard at night besides folks that's hunting, you know? So that I thought that was a little creepy. My dad also told me about a situation with his granddad. Well, his dad, after his dad had passed, he said, you know how folks go through different little situations. And he said one day he was getting out of school. But now, mind you, my dad was 12. I think when his dad died. So I never met my grandfather. But my dad said, you know, he was 12 when his dad died. My daddy actually cut his wrist, girl, because he tried to kill himself after his daddy died. Because, I mean, I guess he, you know, he loved his daddy or whatever. But he said one day he was getting off the school bus. And he said he looked. He said he saw his daddy just sitting in a chair on the porch. And, of course, he said he like, what the fuck? So I guess he turned and looked. And he said when he looked back, he was gone. So that was a little crazy situation that happened. Let me see. I'm trying to think of other things that have happened. Because, like I said, girl, this is impromptu. And over here, you guys already know I've had the little sleep paralysis situations. I've never ever seen like no ghosts or anything, but I have seen, you know, like had the little sleep paralysis thing. But I am going to attribute that to myself because a lot of times I wasn't getting adequate sleep. So, you know, if you're not getting adequate sleep, or if you're sleeping on your back, or you got a whole lot of other shit going on in your life, you know, you can experience sleep paralysis thing, but also it can be other things that are going on as well. But that's pretty much all that has happened here. But I noticed the only times, I'm going to be honest with you, the only times that I've experienced a sleep paralysis situation was when I was alone. I've never experienced sleep paralysis when I was with anyone. If the juice man is here, or if I'm in my mom's house, it was only during situations where I was 100% alone. Nobody else was around. I was in the house completely alone, and that was the only time I ever experienced it. I've never, ever experienced it with other people around. I can say that, which I think is very, very weird, that, you know, I've never experienced a sleep paralysis situation when I was 100% alone. What else has happened? Let's see. Can I think of anything else? I can't think of nothing else that's necessarily happened, y'all. Right off the top of my head. Besides the situation that happened at my mom's house when my uncle had died, he used to throw money at us all the time when he was alive. And this one particular weekend, I was down at my mom's house. This was years ago, and there was some pennies that were on my mom's kitchen counter, and the pennies just flew off the counter and hit me on my leg. And I was thinking to myself, you know, I was trying to think of several different ways that penny could have flew off that counter. But I'm thinking to myself, ain't no way in the hell that penny could have flew off that counter when nobody near it and hit me on my damn leg. Because the only thing I could think of, I thought to myself, I was like, all right, buddy. Because we used to call my Uncle Buddy. I was like, all right, buddy. Because that's all he used to throw money and hit us with it. Like little coins. Because, you know, being kids, my uncle died when I was 14 or 15 years old. And he used to always, that's how he used to give us money. He used to throw it and hit us with it. So that's the only thing that I could think of that my uncle was, you know, telling me, hey, you know, I miss you or something like that. That's the only reason I can think that penny flew off that freaking counter and hit me. Now, this was when my dad and my brother were still alive. Everybody was still alive at this time, so can't say it was my daddy or my brother because they were still alive during this time. So the only person I could think of that would throw some money or slide some money off a counter and hit me was my uncle. But yeah, those are my few ghost story situations or paranormal experiences. If you guys have ever had any paranormal experiences, leave it down in the comment section below. I would love to read them, even though I know it's going to be I know it's going to be really, really creepy, and I'm already creeped out just talking about this whole little situation right there, so I'm going to have to go in my room and pray, girl. But leave your paranormal experiences down in the comment section below, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.